Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for an MP webinar covering the 2023 hiring, recruiting secrets, and innovative tools for success. I'm Katie Kreider, Marketing Specialist here at MP. For those of you joining us on a webinar for the first time, MP is a full-service human capital management company. We offer a complete suite of products and services to support organizations through the entire employee lifecycle, including recruiting, HR, payroll, benefits administration, time and attendance, and compliance assistance. We support our clients with cutting-edge technical solutions, as well as proactive, reliable service and a deep HR and payroll expertise. At MP, we are wired for HR and help our clients succeed by aligning their people strategy with their business goals. I'm excited to introduce your presenter for today's program, Tracy Westcott. Tracy is the Talent Solutions Manager for RPO, Recruitment Process Outsourcing Services at MP. She has been in the talent acquisition field for nearly 2 decades and acted as talent acquisition lead at Public Partnerships for 9 years. She holds a bachelor's degree from St. Michael's College in Vermont, and she received her PHR, Professional Human Resources, license from HRCI. Just a few housekeeping issues before we get started here today. If you would like to submit a question during the program, please use the Q&A feature at the bottom of the screen. We will also be sending out the recording of the webinar later today, along with the slides. To ensure that your company is prepared for year end, I'm going to drop a link in the chat for you to book a meeting with Tracy or to learn more about MP. And with that, I'm going to hand the mic off to Tracy.
Thank you, Katie. I appreciate it. So before we get started, I did want to provide a quick overview of MP and really how we got to the point where we're at right now. So MP did start as a payroll company back in 2004 in Massachusetts. And over the past couple decades, we have continued to evolve based on the market and really expanded services to meet the needs of our clients. So these solutions have included software for tracking time and attendance, talent management, HR compliance, Ben admin, and we've also, about 6 years ago, expanded our services to also include a full service HR team with a team of experienced SHRM certified HR professionals. And the HR team works with our clients on a wide variety of issues, from handling and creating employee handbooks, HR strategy, compliance challenges, really the sounding board for our clients when it comes to HR related matters. And most recently, a couple of years back, we decided to really expand our services to also offer a recruiting service. We saw the need and the challenge that our clients were facing. So we have expanded to really have a full service HR and HCM offering here at MP. So we really wanted to help our clients who have been struggling to fill their open positions given today's tight labor market. And with our recruiting services and the technologies, we know that our employers will be able to improve their hiring process, attract the talent and candidates that they need, and reduce their overall cost and time to hire in partnering with our team. And really adding this recruiting offering made sense to MP. And we also just understand that, because the most valuable tool to any organization to reach its business goals is hiring the right people and having people, that they can get to that next level that they, are aspiring to be at. So during this webinar, we're going to talk about our MP recruiting team and really who we are and what we do here at MP. So we'll talk about how we fill positions faster, how we can cut your hiring cost, and then optimizing your tech stack for a better and streamlined recruiting approach. And then answer any questions that you might have around our recruiting team here. So to start with the basics in terms of how we work with our clients. And I just want to set the stage in terms of, what the service offering is, because a lot of people are not familiar with it. So I wanted to answer a few questions to start. So how do we partner with our clients? So I'll get into this in a little bit more detail in some later slides. But our model is a subscription model that gives our clients a dedicated recruiting resource to manage a number of positions for them at any given time. And who do we typically partner with? Typically, we partner with small to mid-sized organizations with or without a HR or TA function in-house already. We do work with some larger organizations as well, but primarily I would say the bulk of our clients are really in that small to mid-size market. So for smaller companies that don't have a TA or HR team, typically we are their recruiting division, so to speak. So we are their recruiting resource, their go-to senior recruiter on their team that focuses on filling all of the positions that they have open. And usually it's because clients either don't have the resources to hire someone full time, they don't need somebody full time, or for some of our current HCM or HR clients, it's a service that they've decided to add on, for us to continue to help in other ways as it relates to their hiring and HR. And then for mid-sized companies, typically companies will partner with us to supplement their current talent acquisition or HR team. So whether that's HR currently doing the recruiting and the HR team needs a little bit of help, or maybe they already have a team of recruiters, but there's just some positions that need some additional focus and resources toward, then a lot of times we'll partner and really essentially become an additional recruiter on their team. And then what do we do? So I want to focus on 3 different points around what we do. So one would be the client experience, and then also the recruiting process and the candidate experience. So as it relates to the client experience, you will have one dedicated recruiter that will, really manage those positions that we're working on. They'll have weekly meetings with your team. They'll provide candidate market data, comp data. They'll share trends that they're seeing in the market based on the conversations that they're having with candidates. And then they'll just help with ongoing process improvement and really highlight any, ongoing trend that we're seeing as being a challenge, and work through, whether that's something that, the team can address. So really just becoming a subject matter expert for you and your team. And then as it relates to the recruiting process, what we do is really handle the entire recruiting life cycle up until it's time to make an offer for those candidates. So we have 4 steps in that process. So we have preparation, which includes our intake, so a intake meeting with the hiring manager and the hiring team, and then also the market data as well. So before going into any search, we are going to have a full market analysis of the position, the location, the certifications needed, whatever it may be that is required for those positions. We're going to take that and create a market report based on what we've gathered. And then from there, we'll then implement the recruiting strategy. And again, that recruiting strategy really depends on that market research that we have done, excuse me, in the past. And then also we'll have the client and candidate delivery. So what that would be is our submittals, interviewing, and all of that back and forth that's required between the candidate and the client. And then lastly, the last step is really the hiring and closing of the position. And once we make that hire, we're typically transitioning to somebody internally to get them set up with onboarding, and really follow that hiring process from there. And then we'll open up another position once that's been filled. And then the candidate experience, that's another piece that's very important. And there's a lot There's a lot to be said about that right now, given the market when it comes to creating that positive candidate experience. And one of the things that our team is consistent with their communication, scheduling, providing details for the interviews, really that follow up and back and forth between the candidate and the interviewers or the hiring team throughout that process. And then when is the best time for a business to partner with us? Typically, we see clients partnering with us before or during a hiring surge if they are expecting a new contract to come in, or if they have aggressive headcount goals for, the coming months. They'll partner with us to give them that additional resource. I think sometimes we see often if a client has lost their internal recruiter, they'll come to us to fill that gap. And then, or if we're working with a team that has recruiters and somebody leaves, we have the ability to scale to be able to help our clients when something like that happens, when they lose an internal resource that was an important part of their recruiting process. And then also clients will partner with us if hiring fluctuates throughout the year. So maybe it's not, beneficial to have a full-time recruiter on, an FTE recruiter that, just given the, hiring is fluctuating depending on the time of year, this really gives you that scalable approach to be able to, still have those dedicated resources as that hiring fluctuates. And then we also see clients, coming to us when they have a position that's really costing them money by not having them on staff. So typically, if that's a billable client, whether it's a, clinician or production or any type of position that is billable and really the company is losing money by not having them on staff, they'll come to us, to have that additional resource to bring someone on board faster. And then another way too that companies will partner with us is, if they're working with multiple agencies, they really want to cut that down, and they still recognize a need for outsourced recruiting, but the managing of multiple agencies can often be hard. And I think from a candidate experience and client experience, having multiple agencies can cause some confusion. And I still think that even with some of our clients that have some of those relationships with current agencies, and it's not to say that it cuts out that partnership, but it creates more constant partnership and bringing those other people in when needed. And then why do clients prefer this partnership over other recruiting options? So we understand that there's a lot of different options right now as it relates to recruiting and hiring and finding people. Just watching TV or listening to radio or podcasts, there's a lot of advertising in terms of, different technologies that are gonna help you hire people faster. And our approach, the thing that makes this a little bit different and beneficial for those that we do work with is that it gives you that consistent internal resource. You're building pipelines because we're working within your systems, within your applicant tracking system. So we're really building those pipelines for you, and it gives you the flexibility, again, to scale. And it's a guaranteed constant for your recruiting team or for your leadership team that you're always going to have dedicated recruiting help by working with our team, because it's not just one person. You're working with a full team. You're just really working with that one dedicated point of contact, but we have a team on the back end that's also supporting that. And then for smaller companies, they prefer to work with us typically because we have that recruiting infrastructure that as a small company, there just isn't necessarily a need or the resources to have that infrastructure. So a lot of times small companies will hire us to have that larger recruiting department resources. However, at a much smaller cost to have that by working with our team. And then also, a lot of our clients really appreciate and will work with us and our marketing team, Katie being a part of that marketing team, to really focus on the marketing capabilities and additional outreach that we've partnered with our marketing team to be able to get in front of those proactive job seekers. And we'll get a little bit more into that a little bit later, but there's a lot that we've done to partner and work with our marketing team to get positioned, to get more marketing outreach through our partnership. And the other I would say one of the more common things that we run into, or in terms of why clients will work with us, is for some of those smaller to mid-sized companies where their HR manager, their HR professionals are also handling the recruiting. So a lot of times they're wearing two hats, or maybe more than two. Sometimes it feels like, but I would say 9 times out of 10, when I'm meeting with HR managers or HR professionals, recruiting is typically their least favorite part of the role. And just that other thing that they have to do, that it's really hard to continue to implement the strategic HR goals and then also do the day-to-day of recruiting and interview scheduling. So oftentimes we will take that burden off of the HR professionals so that they can really focus on HR related functions to their job. So, and then all this to say, when it comes to why clients come to us and what we're offering, it's equally as important for us to make sure that our team is a good fit for you and that your team is a good fit for us. So as part of that, initial conversations and initial meetings, when me and my team are meeting with different clients that are interested in our services, a big part of that is really understanding your organization and just making sure that it's also a good fit for us, because we by no means want to take on a new client that ultimately is not going to be a fit for our team. So as part of that initial conversation, we really like to dig in to learn more about your organization. So for the partnership, what that gives you is we have a dedicated, experienced recruiter that is working on your team, as I had mentioned before. And what they're doing is they're helping with your, reviewing the job descriptions, making any recommendations if we can make recommendations, optimizing the job title as it relates to the market and attracting the right candidate based on the experience that you're looking for. And then also, thinking about the experience that you need in addition to, what you're hoping for, and really optimizing, that as we're looking at how these positions are coming across to, different candidates that are within the market. And then we'll also talk about, through the partnership, you'll have weekly progress reviews. And in those weekly progress reviews, we are prioritizing, your hiring needs. And by doing that, we want feedback from you. We want to share feedback with you from, what we've learned throughout that week. And, if some clients want to go over metrics and where are you finding people, where has it been successful, what's the biggest challenge that you're running into in talking to candidates, that's really what we typically use those weekly progress reviews with the internal HR team, and then sometimes the hiring managers will join those as well. And then they're creating flexible and scalable for, changing needs in the job market. Some of our clients have one, recruiter that they're working with. Some of them have 2 recruiters based on different projects that they've added, and that there was a need just for more support. So they had that flexibility when they won a new contract, to be able to have, the additional support. And then frequent communication with the candidates, again, equally important, working with the candidates and creating that, streamlined positive experience for the candidates, in getting, timely feedback to the candidates. And then a big thing, and I think this is typically what the HR managers and professionals don't like, is really that administrative back and forth when it comes to hiring. We will, as part of the partnership, we handle the interviewing, the initial pre-screening, but then the back and forth with the scheduling of the interviews and the back and forth with hiring managers, to make sure that the candidate is getting all of the information that they need. As part of that too, they also will do intake meetings when we have a new position, and it's really important, the more that we can get in those intake meetings to make sure that we're finding exactly what it is that you're looking for the HR team and the hiring team. Those intake meetings are really beneficial for our team and for your team to make sure that we really truly understand your business, your division, and what we can do and what areas we want to promote, to attract the right type of candidates. Then how does MP fill open positions faster? So by having that dedicated recruiting partner, you have that single point of contact, but again, backed by a team. So backed by a sourcing team, marketing, and a full HR, a full TA team, that we have on staff. And when it comes to your recruiting strategy, I think that's really where the market data piece of it is very important, and it's in a step that often really does get missed. You can post a position and wait for someone to come on or search different job titles, but it's really, really important to take that time. And that's one of the things that our team really takes into consideration as they're building a recruiting strategy, to make sure that we're looking at all of the different market data and candidate data to make sure that whatever that sourcing strategy is, depending on the position, is based on that market data, is based on what we're seeing in the market, to make sure that we're reaching out to the right people. And right now, in general, I think anybody that's on this today that's either hiring as a hiring manager, anybody that's a recruiter or HR, building a bench right now is really, it's more for an employer's market, right? Like, we're in a candidate market right now. We're not going to have a bench of 20 great candidates in a niche skill set that are going to be ready as soon as we make a call. It's just different now. So what are we doing to be different and to get in front of those types of people? And that's where I really think that the big difference is recruiting versus posting, or sourcing versus posting. And I see a lot where a lot of clients are throwing, I don't want to say throwing money, but spending a lot of money at a lot of the job boards. They're spending tens of thousands of dollars at a time, or at a month, on posting these positions. But the piece that that clients are missing here is that that's only getting to the active job seekers. So you're really not, you're only looking at a very small pool of people. And I think that there are a lot of really strong candidates that are actively looking for positions right now, but it's not the end all be all when it comes to finding the right person. So really focusing on the true, getting back to truly recruiting, headhunting, finding people that may not be actively looking but would take your call, to hear about an exciting opportunity. And then also our technology stack. So one of the things, we all know it's very expensive to get LinkedIn Recruiter and all of the different, there's so many different sourcing, technologies and programs out there that are different places to post the positions. But one of the things that we've continued to build out is our technology stack and the different technologies that we're utilizing. And we are constantly reviewing different technologies and bringing some in and trying new technologies and really finding what works depending on the position or the position, the location. So that's one thing. We have a really strong technology stack that the outreach has. You really we can get in front of people faster and get in front of more people. And then just from a process standpoint, again, it's the streamlined process that, both internally for you as a client or for the candidate, that can really help move it along a lot quicker to make sure that we're not losing the candidates and, making sure that and sometimes educating the hiring managers when it comes to the importance of moving quickly and that consistent communication. So some different ways that we can also cut hiring costs as well is there are no, expensive contingency fees, or they're not retained searches for those positions that we're working on. And we're going to look at your company goals in terms of understanding, what you're looking for to make sure that we're hiring the right people and not making a bad hire. And you'll be able to utilize our tools and the marketing support. We're going to be doing a thorough pre-screening to avoid a bad hire. And with that, and working with your leadership team and your HR and hiring managers, making sure that everybody's in alignment with the hiring strategy and company goals, both long-term and short-term. And again, those are really great things for recruiters to be able to talk about and understand so that they're able to promote your organization. And that's really where that partnership comes in when it comes to working with our clients, and that more long-term partnership in the sense that we want to understand what's important to you. And then just ongoing strategic consulting for better employee retention and employer brand, making recommendations of how, your team can, increase your brand awareness on different sites and things like that. And then the last piece I'll talk about as far as MP resources when it comes to hiring and recruiting is our recruiting and onboarding software. So we have our Attract and Hire applicant tracking system through iSolved that is a great, easy to use resource for an applicant tracking system where you can post to with a single click 50 plus different job boards. You have the ability to post to, I believe it's like 4,000 plus job boards. It's really, user friendly, pretty intuitive when it comes to using an applicant tracking system with your, reporting and, referral program built into it. You can text directly through it. So it's a really great way if you're a smaller company that hasn't implemented an ATS yet. It's a really great way to really start to build out the foundation of a recruiting process. And then MP also has, with the iSolve platform, it's a full hire to retire platform. So as it relates to hiring, we also have our onboarding and HR software as well that is, streamlined through the hiring process from the applicant tracking system. So you're not duplicating efforts when it relates to, moving their application to become a new employee. And then that's all I had for questions or for the presentation, but I want to open it up now for anybody to use the messenger to ask any additional questions that you may have in regards to our recruiting resource. Looks like we just got one in. So I have a question. So we have 2 recruiters on our team currently So how do you determine what positions are managed internally versus your team? So that's a really good question. And a lot of times that will depend on each client, of course. However, what I usually say, what are the positions that you're not able to get to when it comes to you're not getting enough sourcing, or you don't have the bandwidth to really do a true sourcing, put together a true sourcing strategy, or if you need that market data for that position and creating that sourcing strategy, or maybe it's just positions that are ongoing positions that take up a lot of your internal team's bandwidth. If you have, positions like that, oftentimes, that will make sense for our team to manage those types of positions. But we're here really to be an additional support system or resource for your team. So it's up to you in terms of how you want to best utilize our team. And Katie, I think that might do it for questions.
Awesome. Okay, thank you, Tracy. To learn more about how MP's recruiting services can help you for 2023, schedule a quick consult with Tracy. I did just drop a link in the chat that will connect you with Tracy and her contact info. You can also visit our website to learn even more about MP's recruiting services. Be sure to join us next week on our 2 upcoming webinars, one covering streamlining HR operations through technology, and the other covering payroll compliance in 2023. Visit our website to register and to see the full calendar of upcoming events and available resources. We will be sending out a recording of today's webinar along with the presentation slides this afternoon. Thanks for joining us and have a terrific day.